Lynn was born into a home that looked whole from the outside, but inside, it was a theater of control where love was conditional and truth was punished. She was cast as the scapegoat, the emotional sponge for everyone else's dysfunction. If something went wrong, Lynn was the reason. If someone lashed out, Lynn was the trigger. She learned early to shrink herself, to anticipate moods, to apologize for things she didn't do. Her intuition whispered that something was wrong, but the voices around her were louder. They told her she was too sensitive, too dramatic, too much. Still, Lynn carried a quiet knowing, a flicker of truth that refused to die. As she grew older, the patterns sharpened. Gaslighting turned her memories into fog, boundaries were mocked. Her mental health frayed under the weight of emotional warfare, and yet, she stayed, because guilt was a leash, because loyalty had been weaponized. Until that day, she couldn't anymore. It wasn't a dramatic exit, no screaming, no confrontation, just a decision, a moment of clarity. Lynn blocked the calls, she stopped explaining. She chose silence, not as punishment, but as protection. The guilt came fast, it clawed at her, but this time she didn't mistake it for truth. She journaled, she cried, she rebuilt. She learned that boundaries weren't walls, they were doors to peace. In time, Lynn found her voice again. Not the one shaped by survival, but the one born of sovereignty. She began helping others, sharing her story, turning pain into purpose. One evening, while scrolling through survivor forums and healing platforms, Lynn came across a series of articles that stopped her cold. They spoke of a growing movement, women of color reclaiming their histories through genealogy research. According to survivor storytelling platforms like CPTSD Foundation and Survivors Say, this wasn't just curiosity, it was healing. It was epigenetic trauma unraveling through ancestral connection. Then came the news. A survivor named Roe Shalev, who had lived through the Nova Festival massacre, had taken his own life 2 years later. Lynn read his final words and felt something crack open inside her. His pain mirrored her own. The invisible weight, the quiet suffering, the longing to be understood. She realized that survival alone wasn't enough. Healing had to be intentional. Lynn felt seen. She realized her pain might not have started with her, that the silence, the scapegoating, the emotional exile could be echoes of wounds passed down through generations. She wasn't just searching for identity, she was searching for context, for clarity, for the origin of the ache. She began researching her family lineage. It was liberating to ask, had anyone else in her bloodline carried this kind of pain? Has anyone survived the legacy of transgenerational trauma like her? She dove into archives, newspaper clippings, and ancestral records at the Library of Congress. She wanted to know when the abandonment began. Why had she always felt like an outsider in her own family? How she could be accepted in the world if she was never accepted at home. That night, she fell asleep surrounded by documents, and she dreamed. Her great-grandparents appeared, radiant, strong, and full of love. Sometimes when we try so hard to find the answers, her great-grandmother whispered, we discover that the best solution is not to try so hard. Let it go, Lynn. Just let it go, and you'll be all right. You are loved, guided, and anointed. The nightmare is over. You've already won. Lynn felt their embrace. Their eyes held centuries of wisdom. Her great-grandmother kissed her cheek and said, we are with you. We will guide you when you need us. She woke up with joy swelling in her chest. The silence that once felt like abandonment became her sanctuary. If you enjoyed this story, like, share, and select the next video for more fable stories.